Hello and welcome to the Computer Game Show. My name's David Turner. I'm here with Matt Murray.
Oh, Gary Mabbott.
Okay, James Farley.
Hello.
Hello. And Sean Bell.
All right.
Oh, wow, we're all very delayed tonight, aren't we? It's a lazy Sunday afternoon.
No, I answered as soon as I heard you say your bit.
I'm questioning your commitment, Sean, right, on several things this week. Firstly, the podcast. You've turned up late. You haven't filled out the Google Doc. You've been saying...
We already talked about...
Go on.
Now.
With what?
We already talked in the WhatsApp group about what I've played. It's literally one game, and you've also played it. Doesn't need to go in the document. Now,
James Farley runs the Google Doc. James, what are your thoughts on what Sean's just said there?
I'm not altogether happy, to be honest.
No.
Okay, there we go. Yeah. Okay, so David, and I'm going ampersand SEAN. There you go.
Hi, is that Owen Grieve? Yeah, you free next week? Because for fuck's sake. The other thing I'm not entirely convinced about your commitment with here is the Trackmania competition that we're doing. And there's two things.
If either of our tracks were any good, then I'd be more motivated. As it is, we're shit at making tracks.
Last week,
and it's not.
Going, do you know what's really good? It's going to be a great exercise in working out what works and what doesn't, and it'll be great. And we were really already given up. Right, first of all, you didn't make many attempts to try and beat my time this week. There was
only like a second in it.
It's 2-0 to me, by the way. If you're keeping touch, but like, I might as well be playing. You know, my son at this point. He's giving me more of a challenge than this punk. We've not had a new track submitted yet. So right now, Twatmania is on hold. You can blame Sean for that.
Right, it's on hold anyway. You're going on holiday.
You're
taking the PS4 with you.
I am. I've managed to.
I bloody hope so.
I managed to convince the wife that because Matt and I are taking the families to Butlins in Skegness for the week. Oh, what a holiday! We used to go to places like Cuba and Mexico, Sean. Now we're going to Skegness.
Mexico.
Yeah, that's well done. Thanks for pronouncing that the correct way, Matthew.
Well, after last week's episode, I had to do something.
HTC Vive, no less. I checked on the website and it didn't specifically say that there was a DVD player. So I said to Joe, look, he's going to have to watch Minions at some point because he watches that every single day. He's watched it more than twice. This morning, I put it on for him again. I've watched it about 1 million times. And when the DVD ends, if you leave it on the menu for too long, it starts the film again. And so it started the film again. Harry clapped, I turned it off, and he went mental. So that was it. You've just watched this, for fuck's sake! So I've said to Joe, look, there might not be a DVD player there. We better take a DVD player, also known as the PlayStation 4. And while we're at it, I'm going to bring a couple of pads and FIFA.
Well, why not?
Dave, what happens if that DVD player breaks? You might as well be in the Xbox One just in case. Backup.
I should just back it up, shouldn't I?
Although, do you reckon their TVs will be? Do you reckon the TVs at Skegness will be 4K or HDTV or?
No, they're going to be proper. They're going to be ones with sides on it, bruv. Your TV's got sides on it. That's old school, bruv. You can put shit on top of your TV, bruv. What are you playing at? I don't know, but does it matter? We'll work it out, won't we? Just tuning it in through the RF cable or whatever. Wow, remember those days? I think I tweeted about this a few months ago that kids that play video games now will never have the experience of getting a really strong electric shock from trying to find the hole to put the RF cable in the back. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There was that, and there was those like crappy converter things that you had to use as well to switch between like TV and game.
That clicked
and then for like ages, my dad was wouldn't let me hook it up because he was just like, it's going to damage the TV. It will damage the TV.
Dad, you don't know about technology. Yeah, it's right. There was these little black boxes on the cable, weren't there? And then you plug the TV in one. That was on the Mega Drive, I think. That was common practice.
Yeah, they all had them.
Well, yeah. We had one on the Commodore 64. Yeah.
The NES had it as well.
I was thinking, then we upgraded to those big SCART boxes that had about 14 SCART cables plugged in, and then you click the button in to make it work. Jesus Christ!
I read a thing, right? The SCART cable. I forget what SCART stands for, but it was some French lads designed it. And apparently, like a few years later, even they admitted, like, it's fucking stupid, mate. It's a stupid cable. It falls out all the time. It's too big. The cables are really thick. It's just horrible.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're just like, yeah, sorry, hold our hands up. It's shit.
The little bits of metal in the actual thing, if they just bent slightly, that was it. It was fucked.
Yeah, it's stuffed.
Right. So it's been a big week for little Matthew Murray, hasn't it?
That it has.
We launched the Twitch channel, and Matt's challenge has been drumming along quite nicely. Where are you up to now, Matt?
So I streamed for 3 nights now, and I've managed to finish Uncharted 1 already, and I'm up to Chapter 3 in Uncharted 2.
That's some good hustle, man.
Yeah.
Like
crushing it.
That's commitment, Sean. That's what we call commitment, mate.
That's what it looks like.
I need to start. If I start streaming, we need to start streaming the Top Mania stuff, basically, don't we? That'll give me the boost.
Someone's been doing that already. Yeah, go on.
No, it's just Uncharted 1 is easily the weakest of the 3. So like you've done the hard bit now, basically. So it should be fine from now on.
For starters, before we get into the Uncharted games, how have you found the streaming, Matt? Because we're not used to any of this stuff. When we were around, when Joypod was about, like streaming was still like something that normal people didn't do. So, how does it feel? Like what have you found? What's been your findings from your streaming sessions?
Well, I've got a 16-page document in front of me with my findings. The PDF is available on the website. No, it's really good. I mean, I was really nervous about doing it, and before I start streaming, I still get nervous. But it's really fun. It's really great to play games and have this interaction of people. For some reason, people are actually watching it and commenting along, and it's really interesting and good to do that. I mean, I'm obviously I've only done 3 nights so far, so I'm like the biggest beginner, and I've made loads of mistakes, and I'm trying to improve and stuff. But it's really fun, and I'm really eager to do more. I'm always sort of planning maybe other games I can do and other sort of series we can start on Twitch and YouTube. It's really, really fun, yeah. Whereas before, I've done a little bit of stream, tiny bit of stream with you, or you streamed, and I've been on the party chat, and it's been fun and stuff. But it's never something I've ever really looked at seriously. But it's really excellent. I've really enjoyed it so far, and I'm looking forward to cracking on and then doing the rest. And then
it's funny seeing the regulars turn up as well, isn't it? Like, was it Brad, your man Brad? Yeah. He's watched pretty much every second of it, but it's like pretty much kept up and given you some advice and stats and stuff.
I mean, on last night's stream, a guy called Clarkanoid said he'd like turned a girl down for a date to finish to watch me finish playing Uncharted 1. Unbelievable.
I don't believe that.
Wow.
It's quite literally.
You can just watch it on YouTube afterwards. It's not.
Oh, that's what I did. I just watched some of it on there instead.
Some of it.
What was really weird was seeing a real life mate's name on there that isn't. He's not as far as I know. He's not been into like streaming or he's a bit of a gamer, but he's not like insane like us. And then I saw his name pop up, and he was sitting watching on late one night watching Matt play a video game. It's just weird.
Crazy.
It's funny how like people sort of just stumble across that stuff and then start interacting on that.
Yeah, I mean, I could have finished Uncharted actually in 2 sittings, but it was 2:00 in the morning on the second night, and I thought I'm just going to hold off and do the sort of the finale done the next night. But it's brilliant. It's been brilliant sort of streaming it, and Uncharted's been fun.
You've not played Uncharted before. That's the point in this. You're catching up with the rest of us just before 4 comes out.
Yeah.
What have you made of Uncharted 1?
During the stream, I said, "Well, I can't. This game looks really good." I mean, then I realised it was obviously a remaster. So I was being a bit stupid there. But I think art-wise, it's still really strong. I mean, this is like a 2007 game. Art-wise, I think it looks great. And And I've really enjoyed it. It definitely suffers in the latter third where. Can we drop spoilers? I'm going to assume we can drop spoilers.
Yeah, absolutely.
It will be
Okay.
alright.
Well, as soon as all the mutant shit happens, I'm like, oh, this is a bit silly, really.
Yeah, I remember at the time when I played that. At the time, it was kind of like, why has it done this? Like it was doing so well up until this point, and then it introduces mutant stuff and.
It introduces and when it introduces the mutants, then like the combat changes where it's just basically just.
Shotgun.
It just wasn't really fun, and the final boss was a bit silly as well. But overall, I really liked it, and I'm obviously quite a big fan of the recent Tomb Raider reboots, and I think it's that again, but it's it was that before, I guess you could say. But it's really good. I really enjoyed it, and I was a bit worried about the first Uncharted just because I've heard so many people say it was the worst one, and it really goes up a notch from Uncharted 2. But if I've enjoyed Uncharted 1 as much as I did, I'm really looking forward to carrying on with Uncharted 2 and 3.
You should love to.
Although 2 has not started well at all.
See, I'm surprised because I heard Sean, like you said, that you think it's the weakest, of the three. Because I'd always heard that the third one was supposed to be not as good. Or am I just wrong about that?
The third one was weird because like when it came out, there was like a fair bit of backlash. But then over time, people seemed to be like, no, it's Uncharted 3 was fine. But I don't know. I never played 3, so
I'll tell you what it was. Right, the first one, people not necessarily love it for the game. Like, I don't think you could compare your feelings towards that to what you have for 2 and 3. It was a surprise more than anything else. I mean, we all knew that we'd heard there was a bit of buzz around it, but it did so much that other games didn't. It really stood out. So, although it was a bit rough around the edges, you could see that, the animation was just a step up. The voice acting was just like something we'd not seen in a video game before. It genuinely felt like there were actors reading this script with a bit of passion, as opposed to,
Yeah, can you think of any other games around 2007 that were coming out that we could compare? Because even now it feels quite fresh and engaging. So, but I can't think of what other games around 2007 were doing. I know they weren't doing anything like this, but what other games were trying to tell a story with, in this sort of way? There's nothing out there like it.
I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think what games. I'm googling now video games that came out in 2007. 2007 in video gaming. So you had BioShock, which was obviously that was
So BioShock,
Assassin's Creed, the first one, Mass Effect, obviously, Portal, Crackdown, but Uncharted was okay.
Yeah, none of them were.
When it comes to storytelling, BioShock was probably better. But then BioShock, even when you looked at it, it was still a first-person shooter that, where you run around, shoot things, and you have little voice acting. The voice acting was okay in that, but it just felt like, I don't know, there was something about it. There was something about the interaction between the characters that was kind of like not seen before. And the fact that...
It's like, sorry, go on.
The fact that Drake was talking... is it Nathan Drake, isn't it? What's his name?
It is.
Is that the fella?
Yes.
Drake was talking as you were going around doing stuff. That was quite a big thing. Like, so he'd comment when it'd fall down or whatever he does in those games. It really did feel like a step forward, and there was nothing else really like it at the time. I remember when the first game came out, everyone was saying, well, this is Tomb Raider meets Indiana Jones. And when you go back and play the Tomb Raiders that have come out up until that point, it's nothing like Tomb Raider.
It's really, because that's why, I mean, there was like the whole like Tomb Raider kind of reboot. It always felt like it was in reaction to Uncharted, really.
Yeah.
Like they were trying to recapture that because it really was nothing like that.
What this had that Tomb Raider had was the combination of this platforming and combat. The sort of hanging from ledges and jumping from platform to platform, and then breaking it up with shooting. And there weren't many games like that out. I don't think there was any at all, really. I can't think of a game between, the Tomb Raider stuff and this, where there was a similar sort of split between platforming and shooting. But anyway, it come out, and I think it was more like it felt so different, more than this is an excellent game. When it comes to 3, people were... I mean, the step to 2 was massive, right? They pumped money into that game. The first one did pretty well. The second one was clearly like, this is the big push. We're going to put a lot of money into this. And you can see it is just incredible. 2 is just incredible. 3 felt like 2, but The pacing was a little bit off. Like, there's a whole bit in the middle that makes no sense in the context of the story. And the rumour has it that the whole reason why that's in there is because it was tied to another bunch of levels that had to be pulled before, like, you know, you're quite late on into its development life. So they really enjoyed this one bit that they put in, but it made no sense because the stuff that put it in context was ripped out of the game. So, you know that stuff, right, Sean? You've played 3?
No, I've not played 3. Only played 2 properly. I played 1 a bit and got bored of it, and then 2 really enjoyed.
I don't want to ruin it for Matt, but there's just a bit where you're just fighting some people in an ocean, and it's like, what? Why? Why is this happening now? And yeah, apparently because it's got an incredible set piece in it, and you're like, okay, that's it. They didn't want to lose this, but they didn't want to keep the shit that's around it, obviously. But yeah, no, 3's not a bad game. It's probably, the way you're playing through this, you'll probably enjoy it more than you did 1. But at the time, because Uncharted 2 was just like such a huge step forward, when 3 came out, it was like not as good. And yeah, little bit disappointing more than anything else.
Yeah, 2 is just like the logical conclusion of the big budget shooter with good cutscenes that are like in films. Like, it's like with the first Uncharted, it was kind of, like I say, it was in the same year that things like BioShock came out. So it was like big budget games were starting to get a bit smart with how they told stories, and that was really cool. But then Uncharted was like, if you're going to do cutscenes, this is how you fucking do them.
Yeah, the cutscenes were just, second to none, weren't they? They weren't people just sitting around a table reading lines. They were
exactly. They feel like conversations. They
They actually acted them out in the studios, didn't they? And then just recorded the audio and used that, and it's really noticeable. Like, really noticeable. One thing that did make me laugh is that on Saturday night, I think it was, no, Friday night, I called in to Matt's stream.
You did?
Yeah.
I had my first live caller.
Went into a party chat and started chatting to Matt, and he said something to me. He said, I'm finding it hard to follow the stream, follow the story, because I'm commenting on the stream when the cutscenes are on, so I'm not really picking it up. But what, like, did he say why his wife had died? And I went, what? Did Nathan Drake, has he mentioned, like, what happened to his wife, or? I said, what are you talking about, Matt? Well, he's got the ring around his neck, hasn't he? I was just going, Matt, no, that's got nothing to do with a dead wife. I don't know where you put that together.
That was just the assumption. It's the obvious assumption. If I see a man with a ring around his neck, I think dead wife.
Yeah, but then you also said, if you see a man shopping alone in Tesco's, I think dead wife.
Again. Yeah.
That's weird, like, Matt, walking around just weeping constantly because he thinks all men are, like, all their wives have passed away, and he's like, oh, it's so sad.
Yeah.
These men on their own.
Going up to them and sort of smiling and going, you're all right, mate.
Don't worry. Get on Match.com.
It gets easier. You know.
May I introduce you to Tinder? So, no, I've been enjoying it, Matt. Well, so you've started 2, you're 3 chapters into 2.
Yeah.
Have you noticed any immediate changes that maybe you weren't expecting, or that anything that stands out?
What you mean in Uncharted 2 specifically?
Yeah, from 1.
I mean, you can tell the graphics. Yeah, the art is a lot more detailed. You can tell that instantly. The start was really strong. It started with this set piece where you're sort of hanging from a train that's hanging over a cliff. That was really awesome. Then straight after that, there's this huge stealth section, which is a terrible way for me, to open an action game. But now I'll start of chapter 3, if that stealth bit's over, and I think now I'm probably going to kick into regular Uncharted stuff. But I think you can tell instantly that the animation's much improved. You can tell there's a lot more detail in the environments straight away. But I was definitely disappointed with the large stealth section.
The stealth section
I'm
is
really
probably.
excited to crack on, actually.
Everyone knows that's like the worst bit of that game. Like, it should never have happened. I don't know why it was in there, and it makes
such a weird way to open an action film, like action game. Freudian slip there, but yeah.
Yeah, I think I don't know what they were doing, because it's not done again. It's not like there's stealth bits in the game after that. It's just this weird bit at the beginning. That made absolutely no sense to me. And it's
Well, one thing I will say, regardless of the Tomb Raider, Uncharted sort of comparison, is Uncharted 1, it does have a fair few puzzles. I mean, I was actually stuck on the first puzzle within the first 5 minutes, actually, of the game. But, whereas the Tomb Raider reboots don't actually have that many puzzles. So it's interesting that Tomb Raider sort of came back, because Tomb Raider used to have puzzles back in the day, but the reboots don't. Uncharted does. It's weird that Tomb Raider didn't bring that on.
Well,
that's what's funny, though, because that's what a lot of people have complained about, though, isn't it? Like, loads of people complained that that's one of the problems with the new games is like, it doesn't have the tombs, like to
it does have tombs. It's just the tombs are really short.
Yeah, without the puzzles,
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. There are a lot more puzzles in the Uncharted games, and some of them are really good, some of them are utter shit. But it was. I mean, watching Matt struggle at the first, he's not the best video gamer, are you, Matt?
I'll freely admit that, yeah.
Yeah, and watching him struggle during the open bits of the game was just absolutely hilarious.
But I put that down to nerves as well, because I was like, okay, I'm streaming, I'm actually playing. Whereas at home, if I'm like suddenly start, I can just Google it or so I can look on YouTube. But I thought, hang on, I can't actually rely on those things that I might ordinarily do. And I've got to talk to the stream, and like 13 people at that point were watching me running around in circles. It was
Sean, did you see how long it took him to find out what the reload button was?
Oh, you tweeted about that. I saw it on the tweet.
An hour and 4 minutes.
I could have gone to the options, but I wanted to learn, through the game. But yeah, anyway, I actually loads of people were saying that last night's Uncharted 2 stream, that they're like, Matt, it's okay now because you know how to reload, and we've just started the game. So I'm already getting digs out.
Cool. All right.
Really enjoying it, and I'm looking forward to cracking on with some more.
Yeah, make sure you try and catch it next week. I mean, you're on a 4-night break now, but I'm sure you'll be back once you're back in sunny Leeds. So
absolutely.
Yeah, we'll check the Twitter feed to see when Matt's going live.
Yeah, you can follow us on Twitch. We're twitch.tv/thecomputergameshow, and archived videos from the previous night's stream on our YouTube channel. Just search for The Computer Game Show on YouTube.
Do you know what one of my favourite things are? Some of the tweets that have gone out recently. He did it. Watch Matt complete Uncharted from last night's stream. Knowing that Matt wrote that just makes it just a little bit funny. He did it.
It'd be better if it was just like, lads, I'm the fucking best. I beat Uncharted.
One man, one Nathan Drake collection. 3 weeks. We are going live in 2 minutes. Matt, come on.
How does that feel? That's a banging tweet.
Pure cheese. Okay, James, what you been playing?
Well, I've been playing an iOS game, which is going to sound like rubbish, because I've also been playing Watch Dogs as well, which I don't want to talk about anymore.
Are you going to persevere with it?
Yeah, I'm going to finish it. I mean, I've got quite far into it, and I know I will finish it, but I don't really want to talk about it because it's not that interesting. It's not. It's not an interesting game to talk about. It's just like what I said last time. It's not that great.
Yeah.
But
are there any dogs in the game or what?
Not that I've found. I've not found any physical, like real dogs.
Right? No?
No, I don't remember there being any. If there was, I'd have mentioned it. But
I love if it came up with, like, every time you see a dog, it comes up one of those little info panels like you get for all the people. It's just like Fido likes bones,
bank account 0, and then you just see one and
like shagging people's legs.
It says bank account 3 million, and he's just a dog with a top hat on. He walks past you and goes, whoa.
Yeah, so no dogs. Yeah, I've not seen any of those. But yeah, as I said, not very interesting, so I don't really want to talk about it. So instead, I've been playing another game called Wartbits, which I'm pretty certain none of you have heard of. No?
Sounds like some sort of cereal. I'll have a bowl of Wartbits right now, please, mother.
No, they sound like sweets.
Do they?
Haribo Wartbits.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
All right, cool.
Either way, I heard about it randomly on Twitter, and okay, so it seems that Nintendo don't seem to care about Advance Wars anymore, but fortunately this developer does. Because
is it Games
it's basic. No, it's called Risky Lab. But the thing about it, right, is
risky
that
because they're legally on shaky ground. Is that it?
Yeah. Well, okay, because the thing is, right, is I really, really enjoyed the Advance Wars games like before, and there's been like a whole bunch of attempts to like do that on iOS, but I've never found them to be that good. Like there's like Great Little War Game and Uni-War and stuff like that. But this is actually legit amazingly good. It's actually good. And so, I mean, the game, it functions just like Advance Wars. It's the turn-based strategy game, where you have like each mission pays out like chess, and you have like infantry, mechanized units, air power, etc. Then you got like they've all got advantages and disadvantages. But this one, like, it takes place in like they say it's like a war simulator, and the visual style is far away from Advance Wars to make it kind of like it's still charmingly distinctive. It still looks pretty good. It still looks kind of nice. And like a lot of effort has gone into this, and even though it is kind of a clone of Advance Wars, it's a really good clone of Advance Wars, and it really plays exactly like Advance Wars, which is nice. And it's the same kind of thing where you play like one mission and the time is just gone. Like you just look at the clock and it's like 45 minutes later and you're still playing. And it's also got online asymmetric play as well, so you can play with other people, which is something Advance Wars has never had.
Have you tried that yet?
No, I've not played it because I don't know anyone who's got it yet, obviously. And
James, I just looked at it on the App Store. I've never played an Advance Wars game, but I've always heard it's so good. This is $2.29. I think I might get it.
Yeah, you really should.
Might give it a go.
It is actually.
I've heard such good things about the series.
Yeah, the series. I mean, as I said, Nintendo don't seem to care about it anymore because I think it's been a poor seller compared with Fire Emblem, and but it still is a really good series. But this, I mean, as I said, it is a clone, but they really deserve credit for this because it's a really good one. Like, and it doesn't feel like they're completely ripping it off, like like really in a bad way. It's like it's a nice homage, to Advance Wars.
I'm gonna get it, James. I'll give it a go. So when was the last Advance Wars game actually out?
The last one I think was on DS, I think.
Yeah,
they never actually ever released one on 3DS.
No, they didn't.
Crazy. It seems dumb. Yeah.
Well, I think
who's the developer? Was it Nintendo or someone else?
It's one of Nintendo's teams, isn't it? It is just a specific one, but I forget which one. Yeah.
Was it published by Nintendo? It wasn't, was it?
No, it was. It's Intelligent Systems.
Oh,
yeah, I thought so. Yeah.
And yeah, they publish it and everything, but apparently, I mean, I heard that the reason there's been no more is because the last version of it sold pretty poorly, like it didn't do very well, and then they found that the Fire Emblem games have sold massively better, and because they've got story and all that kind of thing. Whereas Advance Wars, the reason I really like it compared with Fire Emblem is that although I like Fire Emblem, this is much more sort of just the strategy, and it's it's sort of just pared down just to the strategy, which is really good. And I mean, for $2.99, I think this. I mean, and also this. There's no it's not free to play. There's no add-ons and stuff like that. It's just you pay and you can play, and it's also on Android as well. It's not just iOS. So yeah, it looks really good.
Advance Wars because they were relatively they weren't ridiculously difficult. How does this match up?
That's pretty similar as well. This is. I mean, I've gone through the campaign. I'm up to about the third sort of campaign area. And it's starting to get tricky, but it's not ridiculous. It's the first couple of missions are really easy, but then it is progressively getting a bit more difficult, but not so that it's irritating me. It still feels to play. But
how long does each game last?
I don't know. I mean, I've played for at least 20 minutes. At least 20 minutes, I'd say. On the later ones. The earlier ones you can do in I don't know, about 5 minutes or so. But the later ones about 20 minutes or so. It's really one of those games where you start to play and then the time is just gone. It's it goes really quickly. But it's very addictive because it's that same sort of one more turn. See how this is going to pan out. I mean,
right, cool.
But yeah, it's I haven't played an iOS game, a really good iOS game, for a long time, and to me this feels like a good one. I mean, as I said, I've only been playing it for a couple of days, so maybe it will take a dramatic lurch into being bad, but so far it seems really good. As a game,
it is crazy how I mean, I used to play iOS games constantly, looking for new stuff and all that sort of stuff. It's just it's gone for me now. I don't.
Yeah, shit in it. There's not even new good new versions of the stuff we used to play on iOS. It just feels like just shit. It's all free to play shit.
It's free to play, isn't it? I mean, free to play has destroyed this, and it's really sad, really, because I mean, there's so many times when you look at games, and nowadays, as soon as I click to download a game, and then it says, okay, here's in-app options, and you click it, and then it says a crate of gems, a basket full of gems, and you're just no, fuck off. I'm not downloading this.
That's exactly how I do it in Clash Royale, but I've quite enjoyed playing it.
Yeah, Clash Royale's okay, isn't it? It's actually pretty good fun.
Until the point where you can't open a chest for like for a fortnight or whatever. But it's really, the actual core gameplay is really fun. And the reason I asked how long games were, James, because this is like 2-minute matches, and I love the fact it's just 2 minutes.
No, this is more of a commitment. Yeah. This is more of a commitment time. But again, it's like, I mean, I've been playing it. You just go to, like you're just laying in bed before you go to sleep. It's just like you start playing it, and then which is quite dangerous because then you don't end up going to sleep for a long time. Because it's a good game so far. But as I said, I've only played it for about 3 days, so it may drastically go downhill. I don't know. But and also I don't know what the online's like yet because it's there, but I haven't tried it yet.
Cool. Yeah, well, I'm going to download it after this pod, and we'll have a look.
I mean, I'm the only games I'm playing on my phone at the moment are Freeze. Obviously, that's still going on. Going on. Heading towards 3,000 games of that now.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, I like it. It's good. And there's like a funny money poker game that I play constantly. And yeah, I got so addicted to the high stakes tournaments in that game that when I completely fucked it and lost all my money, I started doing the challenges to get free chips, and I hated myself. It was all like, download this app and use it once, and that'll give you 10,000 chips. And I'm like, yeah, I will do that. It's just like, oh, come on, Dave. That's just filthy. What an absolute scumbag.
I've been playing some really decent iOS games recently. Has everyone played? Who's played Lara Croft Go?
Oh yeah. It's fucking good. Isn't it? That
was brilliant. I haven't played an iOS game that compelling in years and years, but it's utterly fantastic. I implore everyone to try Lara Croft Go. It's really good. I didn't play Hitman Go when that was out, and I played this obviously since, and I've since gone back to Hitman Go. But Hitman Go, in my opinion, no way compares to Lara Croft Go. So if you played Hitman Go and wasn't a big fan, I'll still recommend trying Lara Croft.
I might give it a go then, because
it's really good. I played all the DLC, everything. It's great.
Yeah, I played Hitman Go and got a little bit tired of it. You know what I mean? I liked it to start with, but then just fell out of love with it a little bit.
Yeah, it's sort of when you first load up Hitman Go, it's like, fuck, this is like a really smart sort of interpretation of what Hitman is, and as like a weird board game sort of thing. Like moving like a miniature of Agent 47 around and knocking people out. But like you say, you sort of, after a few levels, it is just a bit like, right, so you just keep going around and maneuvering yourself, and just so you get behind people and knock them out, and that's sort of it.
So what does whereas Go do that Hitman Go doesn't?
It's got more to it in terms of so like it still has that base thing of like, if you can get behind, like say there's like snakes or whatever kicking about a level, if you get one square away from them and they're facing you, then they will take you out. But if you can approach them from the side or behind, then you'll shoot them first. But then there's things like spears knocking about, and you can sort of target enemies from a distance with a spear, so you can take ones out that are looking at you without getting too close and getting killed by them. There's sort of weird little puzzles involving like switches and moving bits of the terrain around, which then sort of repositions the enemies in ways that help you out. And it looks amazing as well. Like, it's really beautifully done. It's like, So yeah, I mean, I'm only like in the second world, dungeon, cave, whatever you call it. This one with it's got spiders in it, Dave. Sorry, it's got spiders.
Oh, are they bad?
Tomb, call it Tomb. But it's got spiders. So,
are they bad spiders?
I think they're manageable, and I'm pretty bad with spiders as well.
Right, then.
Yeah, I'd definitely recommend that.
Are you still not playing Miitomo still then, Dave? For iOS games.
Why is it full of spiders? No, of course I'm not. I'm 31 years of age, James. I can't be doing that anymore. I no time for that. I mean, it's all well and good thinking, but it's Nintendo. Yeah, but it's dress him up in a bagel shirt. I don't want to dress him up in a bagel shirt. I don't want to answer any more questions. I'm done with that. No chance. Well, are you still doing it, James?
No, I'm not, and this is why I'm kind of surprised why anybody is, because they've not added anything to it, and it's still there's nothing going on. I don't really see why anyone would still be doing it, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, because I got a new phone this week, so I was like, oh yeah, I'll get Metamo on it and load that up, and yeah, same. It's fine. It's fine, but I don't care.
Yeah, it's a shame, isn't it, on Nintendo? But then I suppose
again, it was it was
not the target audience.
Yeah, I mean, it was like we said on the last episode. If this was just their first like dipping their toe in, can we make something that people give a shit about for a couple of weeks? Fine, like they've done that. But if this was meant to be like, this is it, guys, this is our mobile app.
I do have to remind myself every now and then that, yeah, you know what, we're not their target audience anymore. You know, we used to
be. That's bollocks, though. That's bollocks. Bollocks. What is their target audience?
Children.
It's not, though, is it?
It is, though, James. It is.
It's not. It's their target audience is their target audience is anybody. It's not. Yeah. They're not specifically just saying, let's get the kids. Because if they were, they wouldn't. I mean, the stuff they release is not. It's not just for kids.
It's not. A lot of it is for kids, James. I mean, you just got to look where they're advertising, where they're putting the advertising money. It's on Nickelodeon and fucking all that crap. Milkshake.
I think Nintendo as a whole has had a bit of an identity crisis post Wii, hasn't it?
Yeah.
I think they don't really know who they're aiming stuff at anymore. I think they would say that they're not aiming stuff at kids. I think they would say they make family games, which I think are suitable for children. But
kids games, that's what they call them, isn't it? We should have got the film style of things. Oh, it's a family film. It's not. It's a kids film, isn't it? So,
yeah, but like Inside Out is a family film. It's not a kids film.
Oh yeah, don't get me wrong. They do that shit. They do some of that stuff really well, but come on. Okay, no, I love Nintendo. I just wish they made more Mario games for the Wii U, because I'm sick of playing the same Mario games over and over again because of Harry. Right, okay, I haven't got too much to talk about this week because I spent the whole week fighting bosses in Dark Souls 3. Sean, you've joined the party.
Yes, mate.
As more of a Dark Souls fan than I ever will be, what have you made of number 3?
Yeah, it's fucking great, and
it's really good. I mean, it's really good.
I was one of these people who was, when they announced they were doing Dark Souls 3, it's like, it's going to be good. Obviously, it's going to be good. But I miss the days of like playing the first Dark Souls and being like one of the first and just not having a fucking clue what was going on.
Yeah.
And having to learn everything, like what the fuck is that number in the top left of the screen? What's humanity for? What's kindling? Like no one knew any of this stuff, and we were all sort of figuring it out, and that was amazing. And then, when Bloodborne came out, and it was like, this is amazing, but also it's just like, right, so insight is humanity, blood is souls. It's all starting to feel a bit familiar.
Yeah.
Dark Souls 3, again, has a lot of that familiarity, but it is just a fucking superb send-off for that game and that series, and that, it is just the peak. Like, it's the natural conclusion to it. And that's fine. That's great. I'm more than happy with it. How are you finding it?
I'm literally loving every minute of it. So, a few of the complaints I've heard, let's start with that, is that it's too easy. Trust me, it's not. The opening few areas are, I did have a second area, I can't remember the name of it, but the dudes that were holding the massive pots above their head, that chuck them, they're pretty tricky, man.
They're dickheads.
There's no way around it. And some of the stuff is relatively difficult, but it is. There's no doubt about it. It is a lot easier in the opening areas than any other Souls game that I've played. Right? The bosses were taking 2 or 3 runs at before I cracked them. Then it's like. Then it starts to get a little bit harder. Some of the bosses start to give off a little bit more of a challenge. Then there's just there's an area, right? I said this, I hope this isn't a spoiler. I don't think it will be. But there's a bit where you are treated to some of the most beautiful scenes I've ever seen in any Souls game. Like, absolutely jaw-dropping stuff. Like, I know you got there. Did you instantly take a screenshot and save it?
I didn't take a
Surprised.
screenshot purely because you told me I would, and I was like, no, I'm going to be awkward. But
But it is amazing, isn't it?
But yeah, it was a genuine, like, I had to just stop for a second and just.
But that might, as
you know,
well.
people use the word breathtaking a lot, and I've never really understood what they meant. Like I've never actually stopped breathing because I'm taking something in like too much. And yeah, that actually happened.
Yeah, well, I actually turned around and went, whoa, like that the moment I saw it. And it was like, yeah, this is really cool. But that beautiful scenery might as well just have been in the shape of From Software's massive finger up to the player. Because the moment you turn the corner, it's like, okay, right, it's as if someone's gone into the settings and turned it to ultra hard or something, like just in that one moment. I was like, whoa, kicking my ass, man. But yeah, I mean, look, it's a game that knows what the Dark Souls thing is and what works and why people like it so much, and it has now refined itself to the point where I can't think of much to complain about. You know, there's the people were saying I wish it was more like the original Dark Souls with the open world, expansive sort of I don't know how you describe it, but sort of like the more open world type setting, with winding paths that where you open up a shortcut right back to where you were before and all that sort of stuff.
There's tons of that
though. I don't think there's tons of it. There's certainly not as much as there was in the original Dark Souls. It kind of, you start in one position and you're heading to another position. However, the areas are so wide. There's so much hidden away there that it's not a problem for me. Like, all right, I miss the occasional moments where you go, oh shit, I'm back here now. Oh, that's really clever how that's linked together. That's it. That's where the frustration stops with me. I kind of miss having that feeling. That's it, because the world does feel as rich to explore as the first one did. You know what I mean? It's like it's not like it's lost that part of the game. It's not like you're walking through tunnels to get to where you need to get to. Like for example, quite early on, you come across a swamp, and I thought that. Like, I found a way through the swamp and into the next area. Turns out I'd missed about 3 or 4 areas by doing that, and loads of bosses. And it was like, oh, okay, fine. Meanwhile,
we did the same thing, didn't we? We both, the bit we were talking about earlier with the amazing view and stuff, we'd both got there, and it turns out there's a whole other, like, branch of the game you're supposed to have done, and we just hadn't.
We haven't done that, yeah. So we're going back and just catching up. But I mean, like the enemies of the imagination that goes into that game is incredible. Like some of the enemies, you're just like, how did this dream this up? How are the bosses not? You know, oh, this is such and such from Dark Souls 1, but with a different colour this time. You know what I mean?
There's a bit of that
in Dark Souls 2, right?
There is a bit of that in this as well.
Really?
Yeah, no spoilers, but yeah.
Oh, have you seen something? Have you spoiled it for yourself?
No. I know this is something I've come across in the game.
Oh, that is interesting. I did not know that.
Yeah.
But
again, it's weird because it sort of gets away with it because then it's like, ooh, lore implications. You know, it's. So I don't know.
I don't know.
Can I ask some questions?
Yeah, because you're interested in this, obviously.
I am. I mean, what I'd like. Anyway, what I'd like to know. First of all, I'd like to know is like, does this? Because everyone says this feels a bit like a sort of a Dark Souls like greatest hits kind of thing.
Yeah.
But does it incorporate anything from Bloodborne at all? Can you feel that there's any influence? Like, what's the influence?
In a sense, yeah. Like, if you were to go quite out of your way to do it, you can do like a Bloodborne style character. Like, so obviously your main changes with Bloodborne. You got the regain system. So if you take damage, you can then you've got a limited space of time in which if you hit the enemy back, you get some of your health back. And also Bloodborne had so you've got your dodge roll when you press the circle button or B or whatever. But if you're locked onto an enemy, you've got like a quick step instead.
Like a side step, yeah.
Yeah, so in Dark Souls 3, you can have like all weapons have these like special abilities now, which some of which are really smart. And there's like these twin daggers where their special ability is the quick step, which is proper useful. And then there's a ring where it's like if you get quick successive hits on an enemy, then it gives you a bit of health back. So if you were to sort of go out of your way to put that together, that sort of character is there. Yeah.
Okay.
The character movement it's a lot quicker. I don't know if that's the 60 frames a second thing rather than inspired from Blood Bowl, but I feel that the characters do move a lot quicker, like they do in Blood Bowl.
Yeah.
And that's obviously been lifted. There's a whole area of the game where you go, this is the Bloodborne bit. You know what I mean? There are like enemies that are like. They're not the same, but they're a clear nod to Bloodborne enemies.
I was waiting to hear, this turn's finished.
Yeah, this turn's finished. My favourite bit of character speech at the moment in this game is, what does she say? Cleanse the bastard.
Cleanse the bastard curse. That's it.
The bastard curse. Fuck. I didn't hear cursed. I thought she was just calling you a bastard. That would have been a lot better. But it's got bits from but it hasn't ignored that series and what it hasn't ignored that game and what that game achieved. It's taken someone on board.
I mean, I'm just waiting to like find an item or something that's like, oh, and this is from Yarnum, right? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that comes up at some point.
Yeah, it was bound to.
So, what classes have you both gone with? What are you?
We went for the same one, didn't we, Sean?
We did. Unbeknownst to us, we both started as mercenary, which is like your sort of dexterity focused curved sword guy with a shield. Yeah, I mean, you've sort of raised yours with strength and dex pretty much equal, haven't you, Dave? Whereas I've gone full dex.
Dexterity is still a little bit higher for me, but
okay.
I'm kind of regretting doing that because I only really did it to try and hold some of the more powerful weapons, but I'm still way off from being able to do that. So it kind of feels like I'm just wasting levels at the moment.
Yeah, you can respec, but not until later on.
Okay, all right, okay, that's good.
Yeah.
That's strange that they're doing that though on this one, because you couldn't do that in Dark Souls, could you?
The first one, no, I'm not sure you could. You could in 2, although it was quite limited. And still is in this as well. You need like special item and you need to find a certain character and stuff. But yeah.
Is there any more sort of like explanation of stuff in this, or is it
the
same as
it at all, mate? I didn't know.
In terms of like
lore and that kind of thing?
It's still very much find it yourself or wait for someone on YouTube to do it for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I said in the group chat that when it comes to the lore stuff in Dark Souls, I have the same rules I did when I was at school. Let the nerds do it and just, follow them, like copy them. You know what I mean? Like see what they're doing. I mean the stuff that there are bits in the game where you do. They're kind of like objectives. I'm trying to think of the original Dark Souls equivalent. Like, for example, in Dark Souls, the first thing they say is, they kind of tell you to ring the bells, but that's it.
Yeah.
In this, there are bits that you've got to do that, I think that if they were in the original Dark Souls, they would have kept quiet about it. Whereas here, they literally tell you, okay, here you have to extinguish 3 fires. Here you have to raise the banner. You know what I mean? So that stuff is told to you flat out. But the lore stuff is still very much hidden away. And I'm saving myself before I go through that stuff.
Have you done any bosses yet, either of you?
Oh yeah.
I'm 6 bosses in, I think now.
Is it still giving you the same sort of rush as in Dark Souls though?
Some of them have, some of them haven't. There was one that was annoying me because I missed something, and then when someone told me, how to do it, I was like, okay, yeah, I clearly got the idea of this one wrong. There's been nothing to that level yet, but we are getting there. I think. Yeah. If I play tonight, I'll probably be able to get. Tell a lie. The Crystal Mage done me a little bit. I spent a lot of time on that. And there was the one that you did. This is probably too far into the game, so I won't spoil this. But the one we were talking about today, wasn't it?
Yeah.
At lunchtime. That took me about 12 attempts. But no, I mean, not yet. But then we're still playing through it. Do you know what I mean?
I think the what's cool is that even though they've not been too difficult, a lot of the bosses have like a really smart concept to them.
Yeah.
Like this, even if it only takes you 2 or 3 attempts, on that second or third attempt, you'll go like, "Oh shit, okay, that's really cool." Like when you figure out what the trick is. Yeah, they're all just like really interesting little ideas.
I really want to play this game.
Yeah, it's good.
It's good.
And the PvP stuff is given to you really early on as well, isn't it? In this one, and
yeah, I've been really enjoying being a Blue Sentinel.
Isn't really spoken about too much, right? On podcasts and stuff. That stuff is so incredibly advanced and so well done compared to any other game that you can compare this to. Like, for example, in a game, the multiplayer side of things, you go into a menu and you select what you want to do. In this, you give yourself to a covenant, right? But like, so there's the known thing that if you're playing and you're in a certain state when you're playing, you can be invaded by random people. They can come into your game. Sean's joined the covenant that if that happens, he can be summoned to protect the person who's in the game, if you know what I mean. The guy that's playing the game can summon Sean to come and protect him from the person that's invaded the game. Like, that's amazing. It's so cool.
Good. Yeah, and it just happens automatically. Like, if basically, there's like another covenant you can be a part of where it's like, if you get invaded, then one of these Blue Sentinels will get called in automatically. And it's so good because you'll just be playing and then it'll just flash up like, oh, you're being called. So then you get whisked away into someone else's game. And it's just like, because obviously with it being a hard enough game as it is, when someone invades you, like, they're definitely a dickhead for doing it.
Yeah.
So there's no like moral quandary about it. But like what's interesting is if you're a player trying to get through like a level and beat a boss and then someone invades you, like you've got to be so cautious about how you handle that fight because you might win, but if like you use all your Estus or whatever, then you're still fucked for the rest of that run that you're trying to do. But if you just get summoned as a Blue Sentinel, you just fucking dive right in because you're only there to beat the invader and then you get your reward and you say goodbye. So like usually like the player whose game it actually is will usually just sort of back off and let you get on with it. But it's just such a cool feeling just like appearing out of nowhere and just like there'll be two people having this sort of cagey standoff and you just sort of sprint in and just fucking leap at the guy and start battering him. It's hilarious. And I had like a couple of really nice encounters where like I was like on top of this like really sort of high wall and we'd been fighting this guy and got him down to low health a couple of times. And he sort of backed away, used his Estus, and then fought him again. And then he must have run out of Estus because we got him down to like no health. And then he started trying to run away. And he got into a lift which goes down. And he beat me to it. And then I just went, do you know what? Fuck it. Fucking jumped down after him and did the plunging attack on him. And I was like, and fucking got him. And I was roaring. It was so good.
Do you get anything for that?
You get it's like all covenants for every time you have. So like if you're a Warrior of Sunlight, which is all about co-op, every time you beat a boss with someone, you get a Sunlight medal. And if you're a Blue Sentinel, every time you defeat someone else's invader, you get I forget what they call it. It's like proof of an accord kept or something. And it's like it's an ear. It's the guy's ear that you apparently that's your souvenir for doing it.
Make a nice necklace.
Basically. Yeah. And once you've done enough of those, you eventually later on in the game, you find the person who actually runs the Covenant and you can hand those items in and get like weapons and magic and stuff. But I'm just doing it because it's a good laugh.
Yeah.
And it's just, like I say, definitely getting to go after people who are being dickheads and trying to ruin other people's games. It's like, fuck them, mate. It's fine.
But that's what I'm saying is that stuff will be just simple, menus in most other games. Oh, I want to play multiplayer now. I want to protect someone, But this, it just happens all organically. Like, you're just within the game and you've signed up for this mission or whatever and you just get called in. It's really special. That stuff gets really downplayed when people talk about Dark Souls, and when you just think of how genius it is, like, you've just got to give the game its props. That's what I was saying. I mean, these games are just so far in a league of their own when it comes to that particular genre. You know, don't get me wrong, there are people that are never going to be into Dark Souls, and that's cool. Like, if you don't want to play Dark Souls, like, that's totally fine. Like, I get it. I'm not going to sit here and start saying, well, you're not good enough to play, or anything like that. You know, people don't like certain games, and that's fine. But, like, when you look at what the game does and compare it to other games that try and do a similar thing, it's so far in a league of its own through its ideas and its execution that you can't help but just think, fuck, man, how have they done this? Like, how have they done this again? And that's what, like Andy keeps saying. Andy gave Dark Souls 2 a really high score, and you know, people were saying that was the worst of the series at the time. But you're just kind of saying, yeah, but you're not reviewing it compared to the other games in the series. You're reviewing it compared to other games. You know what I mean? And on that standard, it is still an amazing game. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
they've, with regard to the multiplayer stuff, they've been a bit more generous with the way co-op works in this one as well. So they've sort of slowly, like Dark Souls 1, it was like you had to be a similar level and you had to just, like, you know, you'd put your summon sign on the floor and your mate just had to, like, happen to be, you know, connected to the same server as you, and then like the odds of actually meeting up with someone you knew were just really slim.
Yeah.
Dark Souls 2, they then introduced these, like, items where it's like a ring and you pick, like, a god when you when you put the ring on, and two people who pick basically it was a way of choosing your server. So two people, you'd both, like, you and a mate pick the same god, and then you're more likely to see each other's summon signs. In this one, they've done a thing where you enter a password. So say you and your mate set a password like balls or piss or whatever, and then by both typing in the same one. Now this was in Bloodborne, but in Bloodborne you still had to be a similar level. In this, as long as you both got the same password, you can always summon each other.
They changed that in Bloodborne.
Did they?
Yeah, they patched it so that you could do it without, there was no limit to your level.
Shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they've done that here. And basically, if you summon a mate who's, like, much further on in the game than you, then it just scales them down a bit so they don't just trash everything in one hit. Which is great. It's fine.
Wicked. So another absolute banger of a video game.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question about Dark Souls 3?
Yeah.
Of course.
So I've heard people saying this is like the end of the trilogy. Has that been confirmed that there will be no more Dark Souls or a different director, or what is that? What is happening exactly with this?
There's been quite a few interviews with Miyazaki where he sort of alluded to things he would like to do next. Mate of mine, Saim Ahmed, did a really good interview with him because Saim is really into his mechs, as am I. He's a big fan of the Armored Core series. So he sort of got Miyazaki talking about that when he interviewed him, and sort of talking about the possibility of doing like a fantasy mech game, which is interesting. Be really cool to see if he can make something like that work. But yeah, I think this is the last game we're going to see in this exact mold, I think.
I don't think it will be. It's sold. It sells really well, and I think they'll like money, and I think they probably will do some more, because it is insanely popular. It's like, you know, it's a really popular series, and I think they'll do more. It
is really interesting to see Dark Souls 3 looks as good as it does, and the online works as good as it does and stuff. And it is like, this isn't necessarily that From Software have gotten better at this stuff. It's just they've now got loads of money that they never had before.
Yeah.
Which is cool, and I'm happy for them. So yeah, and it's just like, it's a weird feeling, like, you know, like you were saying about the difficulty and stuff. I think like the position that Dark Souls 3 is in is that like it is impossible to set the difficulty right for everyone who's going to play it, because there's going to be so many people that like this is their first Souls game. Like that's a genuine thing that, like, to us it's like, well, you know, you're probably already into it. It's like, no, like this has had such a push for it that this is going to be a lot of people's first entry, which is weird to think about. But
when did Bloodborne come out? Was it last year?
Yeah.
And what was out the year before that? Was
Dark
it
Souls 2, I think?
Was it the year before, or was it 2?
Oh, wasn't it the remake of Dark Souls?
Scholar of the First Sin,
Scholar of the First Sin, yeah.
See, maybe they're going to start doing like a Call of Duty thing, they've got like 1 year is Bloodborne, next year another Souls game. They'll just do it that way.
Well,
Yeah, I mean, they've not really said if Bloodborne is a series. I mean, they'd be absolute mugs to not do a remake of Dark Souls.
That's
1.
what I was going to say. I think
And
that's going
Demon's
to be their
Souls for
next
that.
game. That's definitely going to be their next game. Wouldn't that be good if they bundled those two together? Completely remade them and bundled them. They won't, actually. But Dark Souls 1... whatever. If Burns is listening, he'd kill me now. But if the original Dark Souls was remade, and I mean, I'd buy it instantly. Of course you would.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Ridiculous behaviour, but yeah, I would definitely play that. It would sell bucket loads, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, okay, that's enough Dark Souls chat for this week. I'm sure there'll be some more next week. So
I was going to say, get used to it. Yeah.
I'm thinking of starting 2 actually, so soon. So I was actually thinking of streaming it, but then I thought after what Matt said, I don't think I can. Yeah, it won't go well.
Can't handle
No, you absolutely should, James. Absolutely do that. Please do that.
2
do
is
that,
proper
do that,
good.
do that.
I think if you went straight onto 3, you would never bother with 2.
That's why I don't want to do that because I really do want to play 2.
Because that was why I sort of revisited 2 and did like some of the DLC and stuff, because I'd heard so much good stuff about the DLC for 2, and I was like, look, if I don't get this done before 3 comes out, then it's not happening. So I was really glad I did, though. It's proper good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, right, everyone listening to this, right, if you want James to stream Dark Souls 2, right, tweet at Computer Game Pod on Twitter. This has got to happen.
It's not going to happen, but
Do you know
Everyone
what?
tweet at Computer Game Pod or at JK Farley on Twitter. This is happening, James.
Do you know what I might do? I was
Tonight.
thinking when we were talking about the Trackmania stuff, shall I do a stream where I get people in the chat to help me build the track? Therefore, I
Yes.
can't complain about it being... Well, I will still complain about it being shit, but it'll be neither mine nor David's fault.
You should absolutely do that, yes.
I think that'll... Okay, cool.
I want to
Right.
streaming every night, guys. Every night.
Okay. Let's get to questions, shall we?
Yes.
Let's do it.
okay.
James, that's you.
It's me.
Come on, James, now.
Oh, okay. Okay. So first of all, what do you want? What do you fancy first? Do you fancy emails or tweets?
We've had
Do
emails.
emails.
Yeah, we've had emails.
Why?
It's a
How?
bit of a shock, but
We haven't really given the email out.
I did.
Is this a wind-up?
No, they're on
No,
the
there's-
doc, Dave. And you talked to Sean about lack of commitment.
They're on the
Read the
Google
doc.
Doc.
James, get on with it.
Who did that?
all right. Okay. All right.
I
Anyway,
did.
okay. Well, all right.
Because
Okay, let's-
professionalism is...
Key.
That's what I want.
Always. Right, go on.
Okay, so hi guys. In the last show, you were talking about good Sunday morning games. I was just wondering what your go-to hangover games are. Mine is World of Tanks on the Xbox One. Loving the show, keep up the good work, blah, blah, blah. This is from Wegs. So, what do you think? I mean, I probably would go with Mario Kart 8, but what do you think?
Hangover. See, I don't get hungover anymore because I'm so worried
Neither do
about
I,
being
but-
hungover that I don't drink to the point where I get hungover anymore. What? I'm not good at playing video games when I'm hungover because I just feel sick.
We had... I don't know if you were hungover or not, but the day after my wedding, we had that quality Dynasty Warriors session. That was good.
I wasn't
Enjoyed that.
hungover at your wedding. No. Did we ever speak about how your wedding ended for me?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, Joe. You know Joe Screbbles.
Yeah.
He put Babe Station on, so there was me, Sam, and Joe Screbbles watching Babe Station in the front room of that mansion.
Amazing. Lowering the fucking tone.
I'll say this now because I know that it'll kick off and he might sue me. I've heard that motherfucker's got lawyers. It was me that put it on. So and we were just saying, we were watching it and I just went, what would happen if like New's mum walked in and just went, oh, I've just forgot. Just sort of like, woman jiggling her bits on the telly. The next morning we woke up and we played Dynasty Warriors and that gone to York thing. What's it called?
The York, yeah.
Everybody's
the
gone
York.
to the York.
Just the York.
Oh, the York. Awful.
Everybody's-
Awful game
I know
that
you
was.
fucking hate. Yeah, it's good.
Just pointless. Just absolute. There was absolutely no point to that video game at all. That was good,
That
wasn't
was
it?
one of my favourite David Turner's moments. That. We just, I fucking adore that game, and then just sitting through an entire session of it, and then Dave just going, "What was the point in that?"
It's just an awful video game. No, I guess it used to be FIFA. I guess. I don't know. This is how out of touch I am with my, sort of wild side. Matt, what was yours?
My favourite hangover game is pretending I'm worse than I am, so Jill takes Elodie out for the day and I have a day to myself. Well, no, because I'm a dad now, there's no hangover enjoyment anymore. But I guess back in the day when I wasn't a dad, it was almost only GTA, and I would basically play it, but drive around the city as if I was a law-abiding citizen. Then order Domino's, knock one out, and go back to sleep. It was a great time. But obviously I'm a dad now, so I don't order Domino's.
My favourite game to play when I wake up with a hangover is completely freak out about upsetting everyone the night before. You get that, the fear.
Oh god, yeah. I'm scared to check Twitter and Snapchat and Instagram.
That is usually though because you are such an arsehole when you're drunk.
Well, only when I'm around arseholes.
Or sober.
Or sober, yeah.
No, I usually get that. I just think I'm sure I upset someone last night. I'm sure they hate me now, and I usually ring my brother and say, "Was it bad or was it okay?" Because when you're drunk, you forget that everyone else is drunk around you, apart from Sean Bell, and then you just think, well, yeah, everyone's sort of, I don't know. It's not good. I'm glad I don't drink as much as I used to now. Put it that way. Just can't deal with it anymore. The
recurring thing. Back when I used to live in London and Andy Hamilton would come and visit, and he'd always be hungover the next morning. I would always know when he'd got up because I'd hear Outrun 2 coming from the living room. That was risky ride playing in the Andy's up.
I can't think. I'm terrible with that now. Next question.
Okay, so anyway, this is from Trolley Bay. This is another email, so he's been following instructions.
How have they found our email address? We said it once on the first show, didn't we?
Once enough, Dave.
Matt,
once
enough. That's the point, actually, because I logged into our email not too long ago, and it was just full of such and such has followed you, such and such has followed you.
Yeah, I'll turn them all off now.
Thank you. Go on.
Anyway, from Trolley Bay, if you could parachute one game character into a different franchise, which would it be? Personally, I go for Mario into Mortal Kombat or Octodad as Keeper in FIFA. Also, to put the issue to bed, it's a controller, not a joypad.
It is a controller. Right. Yeah, joypad's too old school. So to just take one character and stick him in another game?
Yeah.
Oh, that's quite challenging, isn't it?
So I'd like to take the Capra Demon and put it somewhere else.
Stick him in Xbox. Yeah. stick him on Dead or Alive Extreme Beach Volleyball.
Carnage.
If you did put Mario in Mortal Kombat, right? Would he just not be able to handle it, or do you think he'd just fucking break and just start murdering people?
Oh, well, I mean, he's a murderer.
Do you know what I think he'd do? I think he'd use that flood thing, the water backpack thing. And he'd put it in someone's mouth and then just pump someone up with water until they explode. That'd be his finisher.
All right.
I'd like to see, this is a bit of a tangent, but I'd like to see Charles Martinet voice, Nathan Drake for one game. Just to see what happens. Just to see how weird that would be. In fact, actually, Matt, you should probably just overdub the whole of Uncharted 2 as Charles Martinet.
Or I could just tweet him and try and get him on the stream.
Absolutely get to do
join the party chat.
Join the party chat. Do you reckon he's allowed to do that? Like, do you reckon he'd be allowed to say, not for you, obviously, because
yeah, it's like in. No, that's not really a good analogy. I was going to say it's like how in in Disneyland, like the actors are like absolutely never allowed to talk about the fact that it's a costume. Like. Oh,
right, yeah. But then that would be kind of like watching. Like the actors talking about how good Shrek is or something in Disneyland. Or just saying, have you seen Despicable Me? That's well good.
It's just, it's really weird territory because obviously he does the voice, but he doesn't own the character. He doesn't own the character's voice, but he's the only one that can do it. I have no idea how that works legally.
Yeah, like if he just turned up and started playing like PlayStation or whatever. Wasn't there a big thing about how that Kevin Butler guy was on a Nintendo advert or some shit?
I don't remember.
Butler?
Yeah, no, the Sony
PlayStation guy. Yeah, he appeared in a Wii advert, I think, and then that's why he was suddenly just dropped. Weird, isn't it? Right.
I guess from his point of view, he's like, I'm a fucking actor, I do adverts. What do you mean? I suppose to normal people, like the whole rivalry thing must just seem fucking bizarre anyway. Like,
yeah. It's to normal people, yeah. Like I just like to sit my dad in front of two people arguing over the frame rate of the latest game between Xbox and PlayStation. It just fucking knock them out. Like, I ain't having this. But no, back to the original question. Take a character, stick him in another game. Pretty difficult.
Yeah.
Good chat. Next question.
Okay, some tweets. This is Man Puncher. We got, what kind of games could Sony reveal at E3 this year that would sell you on PlayStation VR?
Oh,
Anything next.
VR. Matt's already sold.
Some sort of sports game involving giant robots. Hey,
Done.
yeah.
Rez is a pretty strong one. What sort of game would work with VR? Like, I was really looking forward to Drive Club VR, but that's not happening now. So
Yeah,
but there will be a million driving games though, so you can bet that.
yeah, but Drive Club's really good, isn't it?
I mean, Evolution have been saved, don't you?
They're
Yeah.
Codemasters now, right?
Yeah, I mean, hang on, we never talked about this last time. Let's go from the start. So Evolution, makers of Drive Club and a bunch of other games, got dropped by Sony. I personally care about this because they're local and there are not many game developers in Cheshire, so you gotta hold on to the few that we've got left. But yeah, basically they've been picked up by Codemasters, but it's totally like they can't touch Drive Club again because that's Sony's game.
PlayStation brand,
yeah. But you never know, they might be working on something else with VR in it. That would be cool.
PlayStation All-Star Battle Royale. If that if that come out with VR support, I'm there.
Yeah, day one, mate.
I'm totally there. So I can.
I'll be all over that game. I'll be all over that kart game they had.
What kart game?
They did the Mario Kart rip-off, didn't they? That was exactly the same kind of thing. With all like different PlayStation characters.
No,
I'm sure they did.
Did they?
Nah, I think that's just.
Are you thinking about Little Big Planet Racer?
That's the one. Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and they also did. What was that other one? There was a similar thing. Yeah, there was another racing one. I forget what it was called now, but it was all like, "Ooh, make your own tracks and race shit characters on them."
Do you reckon we'd ever see Sackboy again?
Yeah, you know it.
You think?
Well, he's already
Sadly.
persisted through 3 games that actually haven't sold half as well as people would have you believe. So
Free completely bombed, didn't it?
yeah, I think so.
Is that the end of Sackman? Maybe they should have made him like the sort of character for VR, where he just turns up and goes, "All right, look, now you can see around you and that."
There's nothing wrong with Sackboy as a character.
No, I like him.
Games aren't great.
His games are fucking terrible. The motherfucker can't jump to save his fucking life.
I do feel sorry for the Little Big Planet series because on paper they're everything that we say we want from games, but then you play them and you're just like, eh.
Yeah, but it's just not good. Yeah, not the best answer. Next question.
I would like Cooler World VR.
Yes.
If any of you remember the PS1 puzzle game where you controlled a beach ball and you were manipulating the 3D level to get its beach ball to the end point. I play that game so much. Anyway, Cooler World VR, I'm there.
I want that Jester game. There was a 2.5.
Oh yeah,
Pandemonium.
Yeah.
Pandemonium.
Bring
I want
Pandemonium back.
Fantavision.
Fantavision. That would actually that would work.
Yeah,
That was quite good. I quite enjoyed that.
She fucking won the bouncer.
Can we get a remake of Mr. Mosquito, please? VR. I'd have that.
Well, you just
You play
fly
Mr.
into someone's
I've never-
I
bathroom.
don't know what that is. It sounds good though.
Yeah, no.
Have you ever played it on the PS2?
I did, yeah.
It's fucking bizarre.
I think I've got a copy actually in my cupboard somewhere. Is it rare? Is it like, you get a lot of money for it?
I don't know. It was on some weird budget label, wasn't it? It came
Yeah.
out for like £20, so a lot of
because
people
it was
were like,
that.
yeah,
and it
all
was,
right.
Wasn't it on the same budget label as Mad Maestro?
Yes, I think
I
you're
think
right.
I bought them both together, if I remember correctly, back in the day.
Blockbusters for £3.
Yeah, it was from a game like it was literally about $2.99 for a copy. But I just thought I saw those games on PSM2. You know, PSM2 used to put those DVDs out with the commentary.
Yeah.
I think I've spoken about this before, but
Before
they
it's
for
time.
me were the people that invented video games podcasting. Because they were doing things that YouTubers are doing now. Way back then, where they would give these DVDs out and they had all the trailers of the games, or just screen grabs from their reviews and stuff, and you could change you press the audio button and change it to director's commentary, and it was just them sitting in a room slagging the games off or chatting about it. It was brilliant. It was brilliant.
Do you think if they saw a glimpse of YouTube in 2016, they'd just be like, it'd be like when the guys who invented the first nuclear bomb were just like, oh fuck, what have we done?
They logged on, KSI's there screaming about opening a pack of cards, and then all of a sudden those PSM2 DVDs stopped. What was the original question?
About the games that Sony could reveal at E3 to sell you on VR. There must be one game that each of you can think of where if they announced it,
Res.
Yeah, so is Res the one? There must be something else. What if they announced Dark Souls VR? Would you not be dying?
No, because I mean, how would that work?
I don't know. I'm not a developer, but imagine.
I'd go for a new Armored Core with VR. That'd be terrifying.
Yes, because most of the games that I'm thinking of are all Xbox games, so it doesn't really work. Like, I mean, still Battalion. That would be amazing. Yeah. It's a shame they went the AR route, wasn't it? Because actually, they might have had a use for Kinect if VR will come out on Xbox. But there you go.
Oh, Microsoft. Maybe they'll drop some VR stuff at E3. We can only hope.
This is what I'm hoping they're going to do something with it, because they've got to do something at E3.
They've got to compete. Next question.
Okay, is this Caius or Kias? How do I pronounce this?
Caius, must be.
Caius. Okay, so this is Caius123. So this is, are games too long these days? I have work, family, so my time is limited. Completing Fallout 4, etc. is just not possible. See, this, I've got massive sympathy with this, because also I don't have so much time these days, but I think it is possible if you're organised. It's like you have to organise your time really
organised fun.
I don't think it's about organisation. I think it's about commitment. I mean, if a game's long, just play it for that amount of time, but over a longer period. Commit yourself to that game.
I don't think that's that bad. I mean, I put 400 hours into Destiny. I've also got, I'm also married with a kid, but I just basically didn't play any other games other than Destiny for a long time. So if you want to play big games, cool. And I do like the smaller experiences these days, because I can actually have the satisfaction of actually completing the game, whereas for years I'll just basically play things like FIFA, Battlefield, Destiny. There was no end point. It was just constantly grinding and playing. Whereas I have realised in recent years that I actually really like games I can actually finish in time, and I actually get a bit of satisfaction about that. So I think you can do both. I think, as you say, Dave, it's about commitment. You can put 100 hours into a game if you really need to.
Yeah.
I think it also depends, though. It depends on what stage your family's at as well. Honestly, because before mine were after they were about 3-4 years old, it changes. It really changes. It's like you don't, because they're a lot more demanding after that sort of age. And we were stupid and had two, and that was a really dumb thing to do, because then you have even less time to do stuff.
And I presume once they get to that age, they're sort of becoming really aware of what's going on the screen as well. It's not like when they're babies, you could probably get away with playing violent stuff.
Oh yeah. I played Dark Souls 1 when, or the first, the original Dark Souls when Harry was a baby. Can't get away with that now. No chance.
Yeah.
It's the thing. I mean, in the past, the weekends I used to really look forward to for playing games in the evening and stuff. But now, after a whole Saturday and Sunday with the kids and everything, by the evening I just want to go to bed. You just don't. You don't feel like you want to play anymore. It's this is what I mean about being organised.
It's funny how you kind of realise that you are turning in. You remember when you were a kid and you were fucking around in the back of the car, and your dad would tell you off about it, and you go, "Oh, why is he got to we're not doing anything wrong." And then now you realise that actually it's because he's paid a lot of money for the car and he doesn't want it fucked up. Dad, why are you wearing sweat trousers and a grubby t-shirt that hasn't been ironed? Why are you doing that? Now I know it's because when you get up in the morning and you've got fucking do all the shit that you didn't have to do before, you don't really feel the need to go and put some smart jeans and a top on. You just want to lay down for a bit. It's
totally.
That's totally true. After every single weekend and every single holiday, I just want to lay down for a bit. It's like you don't want to play stuff so much. It's like, so this is what I meant about being organised. It's like trying to figure out like when the good times are to do it and everything. It's
Matt, get this. Some mornings now, right? Not when I go to work, but some mornings during the weekend, I don't iron my top.
No, bullshit. I don't believe you don't iron.
Didn't do it this morning, mate.
Oh my God, you've changed.
I know, mental, innit?
Obsessed with ironing. I cannot. I still can't believe that. I should have taken 7 irons to holiday.
Polo shirts.
You don't have to iron polo shirts, Sean.
No.
You're insane, mate. You're insane.
You're opening up a whole Pandora's box.
It's not worth it. I can't podcast till 4 a.m. tonight.
Honestly, if I ever see you in a polo shirt and it's got a crease in it, I'm punching you in the nose. Look, you iron everything nice flat.
Yeah, I will say it is great being Dave's mate, because if you're like spending a weekend with him or on holiday, he loves ironing. He will iron for you. So this next week, I'm gonna have a beautiful crisp shirt.
Yeah. No, I've already checked. There's an ironing board in the room, Matt.
Good work.
Next question.
Back to the question. I was just going to say, with the likes of Fallout 4, like I know people who like they've got limited time, but they're just like, oh, cool, new Fallout. That's me for the next 6 months.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like that's to some people. Like, even if you've got limited time, that is still value for money for a lot of people.
You do save a lot of money that way.
Yeah.
That's a nice way to do things, isn't it?
I mean, I've just had to, for stuff like Fallout and everything, because I still want to play as much as I can, so it's like in the past I would have played every single mission I could in that game, whereas now I just don't. It's just, like finish the main quest. If there's anything else interesting, I'll have a go, but, the completionist in me is dead, because there's just not the time, which is a shame.
Mm.
Yeah, but it's not just for you. It's not like custom made for you, so you just got to accept that actually there are people that want that stuff, so you can't ask them to start limiting it. No,
I would never do that, because it's the kind of thing where, maybe in the future I'll maybe go back to stuff like that, because, and there's like a massive amount of content.
Yeah.
It's,
But then similarly, like Matt said, there are so many like small, cheap, interesting experiences as well. So I think most people are pretty well catered for these days.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, should we do one more? I know there's a few more on there, but we're running late again.
Yeah.
Okay. Next one's from Joe Turner. Yeah. So anyway, we've got here Shag, Marry or Kill. We've got Princess Peach, Zelda in brackets, is that a girl, or Lara Croft.
To explain, I saw that and she said, I've seen you tweet, Joe, and she went, yeah, is Zelda a girl? And I said, I'll answer the question in a sec, but just describe Zelda for me. And she did it. She did it, lads. Well, elf-looking thing with green trousers and a green top. I said, first of all, that's not Zelda. Second of all, yes, Zelda's a girl.
So she was right, but she was thinking of the wrong.
Well, she thought Link was a girl to start with.
Yeah.
But yeah, F, Marry, Kill. Do we not want to do this? I mean, what's the point? I don't know which.
I feel uncomfortable doing it. Like, normally when people do Shag, Marry, Kill, it's like Dr. Robotnik, Ganondorf.
I feel more comfortable with it, yeah.
And that's fine.
Come on, Sean. The Gamer Gators will love this. Go on.
Also, I'm not entirely convinced that Zelda is of age.
Yeah, it's not totally clear.
I don't think any of them are
So
they?
Yeah, Princess Peach. Come on.
Oh, Princess Peach, no, she's been about the block, mate. Don't worry about that. This is bad, isn't it? Should we just do one more?
Okay, can we one more question from Dan MUFC? Does Farley regret getting an Xbox One over a PS4?
That's
should be a fairly quick answer. But...
Yes.
I like the fact that you rewrite history with that, and you go, I only got one because you were saying how brilliant they were.
That's true. You went on about it for ages about how great it was.
Even when you said you're going to get one, we said you should probably just get a PS4.
That's exactly
what I said. You didn't say that.
We definitely said that. We definitely, but
right. Let me just recount the conversation, and Matt, because we've gone through this process 3 or 4 times with him now, and he still hasn't learnt his lesson.
Yeah.
I'll recount the conversation for him, and then he can apologise to us. He said, "What console should I get?" We said PS4. He said, "What about an Xbox One?" And we said, well, no, they're all right, but, PS4, that's what we're playing, and blah, blah, blah. He said, I can't get a PS4 because Cinnabar and Spectre will never get a PS4. They'll get an Xbox and I want to play with them. Do you remember that now, James?
Yeah, I remember.
I remember that, but I don't remember you being so categorical about getting a PS4 at all.
But
I remember you saying they're both great. Like there's people on both of them. You can't go wrong. Just it's whatever.
I said if you want to, if you're getting one, get the PS4. Definitely.
Yeah, we definitely said that.
Either way, I mean, okay. The only thing,
but either way, let's just ignore that.
Since the backwards compatibility, I've regretted it a bit less.
Yeah, I must admit that is brilliant. That is brilliant.
I've got tons of games that now work on it, which is really nice. Yeah. But then, in general, it's kind of annoying.
Yeah, and the fact that the gold games with gold is so much better than PS Plus now. It's insane.
It's Sunset Overdrive this month, which I suppose it's not amazing, but it's supposed to be pretty fun.
It's alright.
Yeah, I should download that.
But the fact that the 360 games are also included on the Xbox One is a big plus for it, I think.
Yeah, it was quite amazing. I was round at Andy's the other week, and he was like, you go on your library, and now there are loads of 360 games on there.
Yeah,
because all the ones obviously that are tied to your account. And I was like, fuck, that is pretty good, actually.
Yeah.
It's like such bullshit when they first announced it, and they were like, we're not interested in doing it. It's impossible. Like, I love that on the forums as well, as everyone was like, it's impossible, you can't do it. And it's like, well, yeah, they did.
Well, there was, some of the early interviews with Major Nelson. It's fucking hilarious now. No, you don't understand. You can't run the Xbox One without Kinect, because the whole architecture is based around Kinect. That didn't happen, did it? Right, we done?
We're done.
Matt.
So.
Yeah, Matt, do your spiel.
We are on iTunes. Please like and subscribe and leave a review for the podcast. We'll really appreciate that. And new episodes go up every week on YouTube and SoundCloud. We're also on Twitch. We would love your Twitch follows. So we're twitch.tv/thecomputergameshow. We are at Computer Game Pod on Twitter. We're also on Facebook. And the podcast can also be found on Overcast, which is on iOS, Pocket Casts, which is Android and iOS, TuneIn Radio, and Stitcher. On Twitter, separately, Dave is at David Turners, Sean is at Captain Toss, James is at JCA Farley, and I am at Matt Murray. And that is it.
If you're a company that would like to sponsor or send us free stuff, then email immediately, please, because we haven't had much. I mean...
it's only episode 3. I mean...
Well, come on. Top of the iTunes charts. We're the big boys. You want to start advertising with us? Give us some moolah. Maybe a free game.
The email address is thecomputergameshow@gmail.com, by the way. So get your emails in.
And if you didn't hear that...
it's all about YouTube and Twitch.
If you didn't hear that, rewind a little bit and listen again. Write it down. And then send us money. Right, okay. Thanks everyone. It's been a joy speaking into a microphone the night before I need to drive up to Skegness. Goodbye.
Laters.
Bye.
Bye-bye.